Toyota never announced the SteelHaven. There's no press release, no reveal stage, no confetti drop. Just a handful of grainy photos leaked from a proving ground outside Yuma, Arizona, and a truck that looks like the product of one engineering team's obsession with a single scenario: total infrastructure collapse. While most 6x6 concepts exist to chase attention, this one was built to disappear into a disaster zone and keep functioning like nothing happened. What Toyota was actually testing out there, we still don't fully know. If unreleased Toyota concepts are your kind of rabbit hole, you'll want to stick around for this one. Subscribe now, because it gets stranger the closer you look. Start with the body panels. They're not painted. They're left in raw zinc primer gray, the kind of finish you'd expect on a shipping container, not a Toyota concept. The only break in that color is a single band of insulation foam orange running along the belt line, there for visibility in low light, not for style. The arches are square cut and riveted, wide enough to swallow 37-inch all-terrain tires with room to spare, and each of the three axles gets its own coil-over setup instead of the shared leaf spring rear you'd find on a standard Hilux-based build. Every exterior light housing is recessed half an inch into the bodywork, guarded by a steel grille, and the rear cargo doors open outward at a full 270 degrees so they can lock flat against the flanks instead of blocking a loading ramp. Side mirrors fold in flush with the body and lock there, a detail usually reserved for military transport rather than anything wearing a Toyota badge. Up top, an aluminum frame runs the entire length of the roof, not a rack, a skeleton, built to fold outward into something larger. Underneath, the rocker panels are wrapped in quarter-inch bash plating that extends past the doors, bolted rather than welded, so a damaged section can be swapped in the field without a shop. Twin recovery points sit at each corner instead of the usual single front hook, and a steel jerrycan rack is bolted to the tailgate, holding 4 10-liter cans in a row like bricks stacked on a pallet. There's no badge anywhere on the tailgate, just a stamped serial plate low on the driver's side, the kind you'd expect on industrial equipment, not a passenger vehicle. Honest observation, from the side it looks less like a truck and more like a shipping crate that decided to grow wheels, and that roof skeleton is exactly where this story gets interesting. Under the flat hood, the SteelHaven reportedly runs a reinforced version of Toyota's 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, the same core architecture found in the current Tundra, but retuned here for torque over top speed. Sources close to the program cite 583 pound-feet, arriving low enough in the rev range to walk this truck through deep mud without ever approaching redline. All 6 wheels can be driven independently through a locking center and rear differential setup, and the approach angle is cut to 41 degrees, steep enough to climb a loading dock without dragging the front bumper. Weighting depth is reportedly set at 33 inches, thanks to a raised air intake routed up through the A-pillar, and the 8-speed transmission has been reprogrammed with a crawler-low first gear that isn't offered on any current production Toyota. Here's the number that matters most. Engineers reportedly rated this platform for 120 hours of continuous off-grid operation before it needs to touch a fuel line or outside power source again. 5 full days of complete self-sufficiency. Critique though, with 3 axles, a full water tank, and a steel skeleton overhead, curb weight reportedly climbs past 9,200 pounds, and no amount of low-end torque fully hides that kind of mass once the terrain tightens up. Step inside and the theme doesn't let up. The roll cage isn't hidden behind trim, it's exposed, finished in the same zinc gray as the exterior, running through the headliner like the ribs of the vehicle itself. Jump seats fold down from the rear walls, ambulance style, upholstered in a canvas material meant to be hosed off rather than vacuumed. The dash mixes analog backup gauges alongside a single digital display, a redundancy built for the moment the electronics fail, and someone still needs to read oil pressure by hand. Flooring throughout is a single molded rubber pan with a center drain, so the whole cabin can be rinsed out with a hose rather than vacuumed section by section. And a fold-flat medical rail runs along the ceiling above the jump seats, pre-drilled for IV mounts. Looking at this, it feels like Toyota wasn't designing a cabin, they were designing a place someone could actually survive in for a while. The materials list reads almost like a supply manifest. Reinforced canvas, powder-coated steel, switchgear sealed for water immersion, and then, without warning, a small brass plaque bolted to the center of the dash engraved blank. Nobody involved with the leak has explained what it's for, not the proving ground technicians, not the handful of forum users who first spotted it, nobody. Concept unconfirmed flashes across the corner of nearly every image Toyota's Advanced Concepts Lab has let slip about this build. And for good reason, none of this has been confirmed for production. What has leaked is the water system, a 400-liter potable tank paired with a UV purification stage, plumbed to an exterior spigot so the truck can supply clean drinking water to people outside the vehicle, not just the crew inside it. There's a satellite communication mount pre-wired into the roof structure, reportedly compatible with low-orbit terminals, though Toyota has never confirmed which network it's built around. A bank of flexible solar panels lines the shelter canopy itself, said to trickle charge a secondary battery pack rated at 10 kilowatt hours, enough to run the water purification stage and cabin lighting without the engine ever turning over. One insider detail stands out above the rest. That roof skeleton doesn't just carry gear, it unfolds into a shelter canopy rated to shade roughly 200 square feet, deployable by 2 people in under 4 minutes, according to notes attached to the leaked test photos. The purification stage alone reportedly processes 15 liters a minute, enough to fill a standard field container in under a second. If that number holds up, this isn't a truck built to help one family. It's a truck built to help a block. Which raises the obvious question: what would something like this actually cost, and who would Toyota even build it for? Toyota has never priced the SteelHaven, and likely never will. This reads as a proving ground exercise, not a future product line. But for scale, insiders estimate the running gear and armor package alone would land somewhere near what a fully loaded Ford F-450 Limited starts at, close to $95,000, before a single shelter panel or water system gets added. This was never built for a driveway. It's built for disaster response teams, remote medical outfits, and expedition crews who need a vehicle that can function as its own outpost rather than just a way to get somewhere. Picture a wildfire perimeter 3 days after the power lines came down, or a washed-out mountain road where the nearest working well is 40 miles away. That's the environment this platform seems designed to answer, not a school run or a weekend trailhead. If that's the kind of build you find yourself drawn to, drop a comment telling me what you'd want to see this thing tackle first. Reveal what we're really looking at with the SteelHaven isn't a concept truck. It's Toyota quietly asking a question: what happens to mobility when the power grid, the water supply, and the road network all fail at once, and nobody's coming to fix it this week? Verdict: as a proving ground exercise, it succeeds in a way most concept vehicles never bother attempting. It isn't chasing attention, it's chasing function. From the bolt-on bash plates to the drain in the cabin floor. And that 120-hour off-grid rating alone puts it in territory almost no six-wheel platform on record has reached. Close. There's something quietly haunting about a truck engineered around the idea that help might not arrive in time, and something unforgettable about the fact that Toyota built it anyway. Brass plaque and all. If a machine like this is ever built for people instead of proving grounds, tell me in the comments who you think should be first in line to drive it. Teaser. Next time, we're pulling the cover off a concept Toyota buried even deeper than this one, and the reason it never left the lab might be the strangest part of the whole story.